Welcome everyone to HueFin, also known as HueFin News. Today is May the 26th, 2021. We're going to talk about a particular stock that Ark Invest is actually possibly buying shares of. And then we're going to show you this confusing chart right here as to why we don't try to push technical analysis on this channel and show you why it doesn't benefit you at all into determining where price is going to go. Now, if you all appreciate all of the information, all of the content that we are creating in terms of anticipating price movements so that we can dominate the market and that we can profit into this market, make sure you join this team and our community. You can do that by liking the video, sharing the video, and also subscribing to the channel. We're not about all the fluff, all the hype, all the FOMO and the FUD. Money is made in the background. And what we do is we get in position by strictly looking at the price chart, price bars, and the volume in determining where market price is going to go so that we can win. And if you want to win, make sure you join us here because we're not going to be the ones to confuse you. This type of chart will confuse you though, right? Look at it. Mass confusion is going on here. And this is one of the prime reasons why people lose money in the stock market is because you have people out here making it complicated, making it confusing for the average individual just to realize where price is going to go. That's the only thing we're worried about is where price is going to go. And when you look at charts like this, it doesn't benefit you in that regard. You have no idea as to what the market is trying to do. And the more lines you have on your chart, I think people think that's the smarter you are or the more expert you are in terms of technical analysis. It couldn't be further from the truth. The more lines you see, the more confused you are. This is a product for Bitcoin, and this individual who posted this on TraderView, Destiny JV, about 18 hours ago. And you still have no idea as to where the market's anticipated to go in Bitcoin. You don't. And also look at the posts. This is why we don't push that technical analysis jargon because it doesn't benefit us at all. Just listen to some of these words. Confluence factors. Fib timelines, impulse moves, corrections. The Fib speed fan has a current local trend bending into an equal triangle. It sounds too scientific. This is not a market. You're making this more complicated than what it ought to be. You need to make sure that you stray away from these type of individuals, type of charts, because it doesn't make you any smarter. It shows how complicated you are and how people will find you being complicated. And the more complicated you are, the more confused you'll be, the less likely people will follow you. Possible UT at the 8 fib time where it meets the fib fan at 0.5. What you have to break that down into layman terms for ordinary people will be able to understand. This is the prime reason why people don't participate into the market is because all of these indicators, you would have to have some scientific degree just to understand one thing, and that is where in the world price is going to go. We're going to show you the opposite side. We're going to give you our predictions all without being confused. We're not going to give you any of these confluence technical indicators and Fibonacci retracements and fib lines and bending equals into triangles that turns over into shapes and circles and ellipticals and MACDs and stochastics. No, we're not going to give you that because it doesn't require all of that. Just imagine if you had to go through all of this just to figure out whether or not what type of groceries you want to buy, right? You go into any grocery store. Imagine if you had to do this type of research just to make a determination if price is actually attractive to you to purchase. Don't bring this over into the stock market. If you don't do this in a grocery store where you buy your groceries, why would you do it in the stock market? You need to treat these both the same. The stock market is the same as any other retail establishment or grocery store. It's just the same. You're trying to get the best price possible. That's it. So I wanted to show you all that just to let you know that there is a lot of confusion being seen on charts, and we're not about that. If you want to learn it the easy way, we're here. This is why we're doing these videos, to show you all that you can actually predict and profit into the market without all of this. So now, also you probably clicked on this video to see that Ark Invest is now investing in Volkswagen. Take a look. Came out about a day ago. And this is one reason why we don't push the news is when you Google Ark Invest and the ticker symbol for Volkswagen, take a look at this. Markets Business Insider. This was March 23rd, just a couple of months ago. Kathy Wood's Ark is unimpressed with Volkswagen. Let's click on this. With Volkswagen EV battery plans. This was just a couple of months ago, right? So you would think that Ark Invest would not be interested in Volkswagen just a couple of months ago. So look at this article yesterday. Tesla bull Ark Invest in a change of stance says that Volkswagen is making strides in transitioning to autonomous electric future. Come on. This is why we don't pay attention to the news, is because they want you to do a certain thing in the market. When Ark Invest was dissing Volkswagen back in March, understand that they was purchasing this stock at that time, trying to make sure that it doesn't increase the demand or the price of every share of Volkswagen. They want to buy it as cheap as possible. So when you want to buy something as cheap as possible, you throw out negative sentiment, you throw out negative news to keep people away, because Ark Invest realized that they have a major footprint in the market. Whatever they do is going to grab media attention. So when they state that they're unimpressed with Volkswagen back in March, best believe in the background that they was purchasing these shares while you wasn't, because they told you that they was unimpressed. And then just a couple of months after that, here we are, May 25th, 2021. Now they're trying to change all of a sudden the stance of Volkswagen stock. Come on. You have to be an independent thinker when you're in the market. This is why we don't pay attention to the news and article, because you be going one way, you won't be a buyer. Next way, you be a buyer. You'll end up being confused as to what's really going on. And this is just a prime indication that Ark Invest does not have our interests at heart. They're in it to make money, just as we are. So when you don't pay attention to the news and you strictly focus in on a chart, you'll begin to see that, right? So this is Volkswagen right here. Take a look at the market. We've seen this particular stock trade sideways for a while, very wide channel. It hasn't been in a massive breakout, higher than, $50 and since like 2009. Currently, let me bring this over to a longer time frame to clean up the chart. And you can see here that someone is in this market buying Volkswagen, right? And the article that showed Ark Invest wasn't interested in Volkswagen was back in March, right? So it was, let me see, that was March 23rd. So it was on this particular 5-day price bar right here that they was unimpressed. And look what happened. Just by them saying that they were unimpressed with Volkswagen, the price came down. Why? Because they want to buy it cheaper. And recently, you can see here that Volkswagen has created a very good support price, right? And we are in a uptrend. So I'm going to create this line here for us to remember how strong this market is in Volkswagen. We're in a uptrend. You can see how we've been trading, broke out to the upside, and now we're coming right back down into this trend. So we can expect that. Okay. Now take a look at this on a 2 weeks time frame. This is one reason why we're looking at this Volkswagen and anticipating price to go higher, because of how we ended the last 2 week price bar. Our area support for Volkswagen now is there around $30.50, give or take. That's where the support area is. anywhere within that prediction area that I've just drawn on the chart is where we're expecting the price to go in Volkswagen. Okay, so now I want to see if we can grab out a restriction area in the market in Volkswagen, and it's very hard to dispel and see. We really cannot see a firm area of restriction into the market in Volkswagen. I would say maybe around like $35 is where the nearest area of restriction is into the market in Volkswagen. But generally, we've seen in the long term that Volkswagen wants to go higher in price, and we're going to simply play that, right? The article comes out just a day ago. All of a sudden, they have a change of stance. Why? Because they want to induce you to buy more of this particular stock. They need the price to go higher so that they can sell at a profit. Don't think that they're in the market to help you, right? They're not. But looking at the price chart, we can still gauge that there's still demand and interest here in Volkswagen. And we're going to continue to play that. Now, I told you that around $35 is where we would come in and skim off some profitability into the market in Volkswagen. Okay. And that will give us what? $35. I would say like $35.40. Give us 4%, right? Which is decent, but that's the current location to where we would be expecting the market in Volkswagen to give us some weakness. Now, I'm going to bring it all the way up there towards 38 so that we can actually see that market play out. But in the long term, based off how we've seen the market trade on a 3-week and a 5-week time frame, $36, $35 is probably how high I'm looking for the market to go. Okay. So let me bring this down just a tad. And this is how we're going to play the market in Volkswagen. Okay. The market tells us precisely what it wants to do on the chart. And so far, the demand is currently involved into the market in Volkswagen. And we're going to play that. So this is it. This is what we're expecting, not in the next 5 years, 10 years, but rather what we're looking forward to in the next, week, 2 weeks, is looking for this market in Volkswagen to continue to go higher in price. If we cannot see the market go higher relatively soon, then it's going to take longer than 2 weeks. But so long as weakness doesn't enter the market, we're still on course to see Volkswagen go higher. All right. So now that is it. I want you all to try to comment in the comment section and tell me where do you all expect the market price to go for Volkswagen. It's just that simple. Make sure you maintain a profitability, and as always, trade different.